East Hills on the east end of our study area, bordered by Homewood, Wilkinsburg, and Penn Hills. East Hills is about 9 miles from downtown, and there are significant concentrations of home ownership, slightly higher than Homewood and Lincoln Lemington. Some of the challenges we see in East Hills, again, the neighborhood deterioration, the topography probably more so than any of the other neighborhoods. There are very steep conditions here that create difficult challenges for development, as well as road maintenance. There are significant concentrations of crime, and similar to Lincoln Lemington, a relative isolation feeling and no proximity to retail and services. The Telesis development in particular provides a specific challenge for this neighborhood, as well as the limited capacity of some of the organized neighborhood groups. The opportunities, though, similar to Lincoln Lemington, we suggest there are significant clusters of well-maintained homes with home ownership that present an opportunity for strategic acquisition of tax-delinquent parcels, resulting in increased neighborhood stabilization. And as well, there are, because there are no near-term development pressures, we suggest now is the time to bring those community groups together to plan in the larger East End visioning process. So you can see here a potential area for acquisition of key parcels to improve neighborhood stabilization. We also similarly suggest a program for the survey and prioritization of street paving and repair. And again, bringing the community groups together to collaborate with the East End communities. Throughout the presentations, and the different recommendations, we'd like to suggest that in order to create a thriving mixed income neighborhood, it's important to go through a process for development and decision making that looks at a variety and diversity of building types. And some of that is successfully happening in the East End neighborhoods, but we'd like to just point out the range of variety possible from the different types of single family through duplex townhomes up to apartment townhomes and mid-rise. One specific example as a case study for beginning to explore these different configurations. This case is in Homewood, but is something that's replicable in the other neighborhoods. So existing, this is a pretty typical block where we have scarce buildings left on the block. The red outlines indicate vacant parcels. The yellow is city and URA owned parcels, and the hatched areas are tax delinquent. As mentioned before, Homewood does have a terrific cluster plan done by Operation Better Block that did a really good job of community engagement that resulted in this proposed infill development of single-family units. It would be the panel's recommendation that to expand on this type of plan against the different market studies, in addition to the community engagement, that you could start to create different configurations of this housing variety, whether it's infill of single family similar to what's there, small bungalow cottage units, multifamily units that still are scaled appropriately and fit into the feel of a single family neighborhood, or units that have this detached accessory unit termed the granny unit that could be used for community wealth building.